Well, hello there, humans, hippies, earthlings, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and if you're lucky enough to be doing it too. I'm Bushka Blitz, and welcome aboard. If you're new to the channel, this is where it's at for tanking frivolity and general, well, just rambunctious japes. We run around here, we play Leos, we play Death Stars, we play all kinds of silly things, and we have a good time doing it. Lots of streams, lots of giggle, lots of reviews, lots of win rate tips, all that kind of stuff. And today we're going to be looking at the Leopard 1. Now this continues on part of the whole Tier X medium series that I've been looking at doing. One of the things you might have noticed me doing there, by the way, was turning kind of side on to the Jaegeroo. It's because I was trying to make sure that if he was firing HE, he'd caught me stone cold with my pants down, that the HE might have actually had a chance at hitting the tracks. Now, the Leo 1, wow, this is the super damage potential, super get wrecked tank of tier 10, really. This in the bat chat. It's got no armor. It's got massive amounts of pace, lovely mobility, a gun that sings like the Vienna Boys Choir, and the absolute tendency to get HE'd for 1,000 damage and more by Death Stars, Jaegeroos, T124s, you name it, they got it. You got no armor, you got no comeuppance. It's just going to happen. So how do you play a tank like this? Well, with great difficulty. It's a challenging vehicle. It has gun depression. It has 9 degrees of gun depression. And it has a gorgeous German gun. And it is the very epitome of quality gun handling. But for all that, it doesn't have massive amounts of penetration. And since the medium nerf to penetration numbers and the ability to fire Pramo and do the same damage as your standard ammunition, you've really got to be mindful of where you're at in the battlefield and where the opponents are, because you can get stuck in all kinds of horrible situations like this, where it's like I'm in a lifeboat in the middle of the Pacific and there's about 10 sharks circling around me going, yum, yum, it's dinner time. The only problem is, if you don't watch out with the Leo, it can bite back, and it can bite back pretty bloody hard. And I'm going to show you what I mean, because the Leo has the best DPM at tier 10, along with the 140 and the 62A. It's got the same kind of DPM, well within the same ballpark. And you're going to see that Conqueror, I finally find a target I can hit, drop the adrenaline, and go to work. And I just start getting lots and lots of shots in and doing a lot of damage. And you can see, if you forget about a Leo, if you give it just a moment's time to get out and get moving, it can suddenly do all kinds of terrible things to you, and you're dead. And then, of course, it's very fitting that another Leo just gets up on here and has another crack at me, and what are you going to do? But still, you can see what I'm talking about there. Let's talk about the gun, the 105mm Board Cannon L7A3. Very, very solid gun. And by solid, that's a vast understatement. 0.275 dispersion, 2.7 seconds worth of aim time, 350 alpha, and a fantastic DPM number that goes right off the charts. And that DPM number is around about 3,500, right? Depending on what you're running. Personally, I usually run this with calibrated shells, but I quite often switch it out depending on if I'm platoon or not. If I'm solo, I'll sometimes switch it out for DPM because my playstyle is going to be very different. And the big thing this tank has going for it is mobility. Now you're going to see there I spotted a bunch of targets, took a shot, and I do this all the time. If there are 5 or 6 tanks in the one space and I'm in a light or a medium tank that's really, really quick, I'll just, they call it flexing on the NA server. You can call it whatever you want, relocating, deploying somewhere else. I will just shuffle off to Buffalo and get round to the other side of the map. Now, the worst thing that's going to happen is you're going to get deleted. Rebalanced, put in the old pork barrel and chucked into the sharks' bloody chum water. But the best thing that's going to happen is you're going to spot a lot of tanks, or you're going to stop a flanking move, or you're going to find good flank shots. And it takes a little bit of time. But the thing is, people tend to rush Blitz. It's only been going for a minute and a half. I've spotted targets up there. I've now completely relocated to the flank, and I want to get one shot in on a 7-on-1, and then I'm going to keep rolling on to the right because I know there's got to be someone out there. I'm expecting to sneak up and spot the Jaegeroo for the team, possibly find the missing T110E5. Who can say? Well, I can because I've actually played the game already and I've recorded it, and this is what... And there's the Jaegeroo, and he's not really paying attention, and then he realises and just panics and shoots. Not ideal. I bounce as well. I completely miss as well, sorry. So there we have two complete numpties. The T110E5 that's sniping at the back tries to HE me, gets a 193 roll, and I'm out of there. And that's the joy of the Leo. That's how you've got to play it. You've got to be sensible with it. Took a risk, moved on. I'm going to hide behind this building because I know that there's a Jaegeroo. This pattern actually shoves me up against it, so I've got to push down again. Going to take a hit. I'm expecting the ST1 to really start getting stuck in here. Not sure what he's doing. He must be on a very long reload. There you go. The ST1 does it, and we get the kill. I'm just keeping an eye on the right, where that Jaegeroo is. I'm going to put the building between me and the Jaegeroo, and I'm going to exit straight up the gun barrel here and get the hell out of town again. Now, this isn't a big damage game. In fact, nothing about this is flagrantly obvious as a game that's worthy of review status. But I really like games like this as teaching moments for those who are just coming to grips with tanks like the Leopard one. It shows the adaptation that's needed to actually overcome the frailties of the tank. And it is a very, very frail tank. And you're going to see how even up the top here, I move behind a rock. Like, it's... And then I move forward a little bit till I'm out of range of anyone that's down below. And we finish off the E1 and then we go hunting for the rest of them. You've got to get your head around this playstyle. Not just for the Leopard one, but for pretty much 80% of the mediums and lights you're going to drive at 9 and 10. You've got to be able to adjust and move. We've been all over the battlefield here, right? There's still 3 minutes left. People really do oversell how fast things are happening in Blitz. If you make good, crisp decisions and make them at the, the right juncture, you can end up in really, really good positions in the game, and you can end up doing very, very well. Now, we only did 2.5k there. It doesn't seem like a lot, but we spotted up 5 tanks, and we allowed the rest of the team to put in another 2,382's worth of damage, and that's why we got 1,089 XP. Reading the situation in tanks like the Leopard 1, and you've already seen the 62A video I did. This is a Leopard 1. There's an M48A1 video coming as well. Reading the situation is crucial. There is one medium on the other side, an STB1. I will be going very, very fast and hard towards the spawn of the medium side on the red side and attempting to clear that STB1 ASAP. And I won't be stopping for directions. Because if we can clear that STB1, take this corner, we can absolutely dominate the battlefield and get it all over and done with very, very fast. And you can see there, now we're going to do what is known as the peekaboo. STB1's looking at me. Everyone else then pushes up. STB1 fires. We pop out, hit the shot. He gets spun around. So we don't actually hit the shot. We're very, very cognizant of that T110E4 over there. He's got a 150mm gun. He can do 960 average alpha with a HE pen. We're now into him. We're making sure there is a wall between us and the other buggers down there. And if he even so much as looks in our general direction, we pull back. We've got 3 shots again. This is savage damage. The tank pumps absolutely monstrous amounts of damage out. And we're just looking for the kill shot now. We're going to miss this one. Totally my fault, not the gun. Absolutely my fault. And then we clear him. And then we're around to the other side, and we're going to start working on the grill. Now, the gun on this tank is gorgeous. I think the T62A's gun, which is being buffed apparently again, is just stupid that it is nearly as good as this gun, if not as good as... Let's be honest, it's as good as this gun now. You can run a loadout that will allow you to have the same dispersion just about as the Leopard 1 while having a better aim time and better penetration numbers. Like, I don't know. That's wargaming. But apropos nothing, in a vacuum, this tank has an exceptionally good gun. And that's it. Like, you can see The damage output there was terrific. The speed and the agility to get there, likewise, were excellent. And I really love that because, again, this is not an amazing game. It's 4,000 damage. But what it really is and what it really showcases is another angle for this tank. Like the aggression you need to have when there's an opportunity to be aggressive. Think of it like this. If they're going to hit you, if you're going to get shot, then don't be aggressive. If it's going to rely on you dodging shots like Luke Skywalker going down the, the canal to kill the Death Star, then don't do it. If it's going to be an opportunity for you to peek-a-boom and put lots of damage in, or COD a tank that doesn't have a turret, then the green light's on. And you've seen so far in this video those kind of situations. Now I'm going to show you a game on Falls Creek. Now this is reminiscent of a lot of the games I play on Falls Creek in medium tanks, in that I try to basically get out very, very early for flank shots, to either clear the flank, and just like you saw in Middleburg there, to clear the flank of other mediums and lights, and then work in from there. Or if no one contests the flank, to get shots as the heavies and the TDs cross if they push the heavy route. But that's not always exactly how it works out, but that's a good rule of thumb to move in with. Now, the 9 degrees of gun depression also allows you to more effectively put your DPM to use. I'm being very aggressive here again because I've got 2 guys who push with me. If it gets to a 3-on-2, I fancy our chances DPM-wise, and then I've got enough mobility to actually dance around the battlefield and do some good things. But no one's here. No one's here. They've done a very odd thing, which is they've taken the medium and the light and they've gone the heavy route, and so they've given us a whole lot of map control, an awful lot of map control, and I've used it. I've pushed, we're under a minute into the game, and I've pushed all the way. I mean, that's a very, very rare failure for the gun there. That is absolutely rare. Usually it looks after you like a silkworm, but we've pushed all the way around towards their spawn, and we're now getting effective shots into the 54E1, who should have really either contested or gone the other way. But going half and half doesn't really do the business. And there's the bat chat. We're going for a HE shot on the bat chat because obviously we have HE shells, but then we see that he's moving around very quick. Switch back to APCR, do the business. Again, we're not exposing ourselves a whole lot. And that 54E1 deserved that kill. He was the bloke who pushed up. Good on him. Actually, I take it all back. It wasn't the 54E1 that pushed up at all. So bugger me, that was probably a little bit unfair. That was the E50. Now, you saw this on Dead Rail. The flex, the relocation, the pushback. And this is one of the things that this tank can just really, really do very, very well. Always go for drive wheels. They're very, very good spots to hit on heavy tanks, light tanks, medium tanks, anyone. And you see I'm shooting under the skirt of the E100 there wherever possible. We go for a last-ditch heat shell, and then we're around again. We continue on. We stop because, you get shots, you stop. That's all there is to it. And there's 5 of them. They're right in that zone down the bottom. I go for a shot through with APCR there into the side of the E75, and that works out very, very well. You can never be sure with those shots because sometimes the penetration numbers just get a little bit warped and a little bit skew-if doing that. So it's now 4-on-4. So we're still losing targets and losing teammates, but we're doing a very, very level best. There's that E100 again. Punch right through that little bit of obstruction there. 3-on-3. Now, I'm going to interrupt this game, and I want to show you, we'll get back to this, because it's a great game. It's a really good game. This is a game on Desert Sands. Now, I did 5,000 damage here, but it could have been 7k. Like, so easily could have been 7k. Because that situation that I'm in on Falls Creek, the natural inclination is to rush in and get involved and try and save people. Only the guy I try and save here and basically work with is this IS-7. And he's just not up to it. Like, he's not very good. And I don't know whether that's because he's got ping issues, or he's new to the game, or he's not had a lot of experience, or he's just a young kid. Who knows? But whatever the case may be, all I do coming in here is get focus fired while these 2 guys basically sit behind me and just watch. And the IS-7 doesn't do anything. He's just sitting there. He's not doing anything. I could have gone the flank. I could have one-on-one the E75 that just turned up there. I could have leveraged hit points into a massive game. But you know what I did? I pushed in. I absolutely pushed in. And I don't know how many times I've told this guy just doesn't know what he's doing. That's all there is to it. I don't know how many times I've told people, don't try and be Sir Galahad. Your hit point pool in a Leopard 1 is not to go to the front line and take shots. Not unless it's absolutely desperately needed. Because at the end of the day, you won't last long enough to be a huge help. And your gun will do more damage than the IS-7 or the E100 or whatever that you are trying to save there. You really need to be conspicuously thoughtful with your hit point pool and be smart about the way you play the game. Because the Leopard 1 is a gorgeous weapon, and in the right hands it can do all kinds of crazy things. But if you treat its hit point pool with contempt, you will get destroyed exactly like you deserve. And you've got to do things like you saw in that last game where I just blew 5,000 damage, a great 5,000 damage mastery game, to learn that there is a place for subtlety in this world, and that place is when you're driving a tank like the Leo 1. And you're going to see that in spades here. I'm going to just turn this 183 and T110E3 inside out and completely ruin their game. We've got 3 minutes left. We've done a fair amount of damage, and we've been dancing around the battlefield, but you're going to see there is a cap circle there. There is a bit of brush here. We have a much better view range than these guys. Our view range, in fact, with the optics and everything running, is about 304. We track him up. We are waiting to see if we get spotted. No, just missed that last one. That's why we dropped the adrenaline. We're hoping the tracking would let us get back in. There's the E3. We're just going to check and see if we can get some shots on him. 54E1 doing a great job spotting him. I spotted the 183. Just go to heat, back it up. Still unspotted. Nope, there we go. So I'm going to let camo reset. Now it takes 9.8 seconds for your camo to reset, right? 9.8 seconds. And then you roll straight across the bridge, and I relocate. Again, I flex because we've got 2 minutes and 10 seconds to clear this. We know where the E3 is. He's in the cap. As long as he's in the cap, we know exactly where he is. And this is one of the reasons why I think the E3 is broken at the moment, is it's quite easy to put damage into an E3 given enough time. And if you had a high explosive round worth of dime here, you could just be doing 300, 400 every time you press the button. We'll just go for what we can see. Still unspotted. He's behind brush. I'm behind brush. Together, we are behind brush, and that means he can't do anything to me. I'm looking for the target. Go to the 183. Immediately take the shot. Pull back. Not spotted. 2 seconds is the limit. Still time to get there on the reload. No shots. Reset again. Pull back. Now the E3 has finally figured out it's time to get the hell out of Dodge. He still can't see me. Good thing here. Now that is a smart move. We've got to use APCR there if we want to try and hit him. So we do that and clear the 2 bits of obstruction in front of him. And that allows the E4 as well to put shots into him. And now he's just in licorice all sorts. He's got no hope. He really is screwed. Nothing he can do. He's basically just absolutely in a terrible position. There's the 183. He's been mucking around at the back. And this is what I'm talking about with the tank. Use the subtlety. He's a one shot. I've got 1,850 hit points left. I'm not going to waste any of them getting there. And we are absolutely going to go barnstorming. We'll easily get there inside the last 30 seconds. Even as I move up, I'm still making sure that there is a building covering my right-hand side. So if he does pop out, we've got to look at him. There he is. He's trying to get away. Clear it. 18 seconds to go. 4 kills. Very, very solid Leopard 1 game. And I hope that really illustrates how I feel about the tank and how you should play it. Because it is a tough tank to play at the moment. There's so many big guns around, and there's so much camping going on. 5,600 damage, 4 kills, lots of cap resets, high caliber, sniper award. Love those ones. Got the top gun as well. Yeah, great tank. Very, very cool tank, but quite often a tank that gets driven very, very erratically by the player base. Make sure to follow on Twitter at Bushka on Blitz. Make sure you watch the streams. Make sure you follow at Bushka on Boats, my World of Warships Blitz channel. And until next time, just generally look after yourselves and stay safe on the battlefield.